Welcome to the Trail Chaser podcast.
This episode is presented by Nixon Tire. You know how much we like the Nixon Tire. Go out to the desert, go out to the mud, go out to the snow, get yourself a set of Rodian MTXs. I guarantee they're going to help you get out of the whatever sticky stuff you get yourself into. The show's also brought to you by Icon Vehicle Dynamics. The Icon Vehicle Dynamics system is super comfortable. All three of us have it. It knocks it out of the park in the desert, and it's super comfortable to drive to work every day. Go to iconvehicledynamics.com and get your rig upfitted with Icon gear.
Today on the show, we talked to Jared with Yucca Manufacturing. He tells us about the new rack that he built for his new Ford Bronco Sport Edition. He's a gamer. He takes some gentle ribbing. He opened the door and I stepped through it. But he's a good guy, and he's welcome back on the show any week. Maybe he could look out, Jose. Maybe this guy's gunning for you.
You know what? Well, I've been thinking about getting a bigger rack. I mean, do you guys have any size suggestions?
It's time for the Trailchasers podcast. Are you ready? Let's begin.
Trailchaser, get out there and chase your adventure. Trailchaser, our time is now.
Get out there and chase your adventure. Get out there and chase your adventure. Get out there and chase your adventure. Get out there and chase your adventure.
Hey, everybody. We have Grizzly Adams, Jose, and Jared Lazone with us tonight. And we say that because for whatever reason, Matt sat down in front of the camera, and it looks like his beard has grown 3 sizes. We have Jared joining us from Yucca Manufacturing. That is Yucca, like it sounds, YUCCA manufacturing.com, or Yucca MNFG on Instagram. How are you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Good. Thank you for joining us. I think, if I recall, Casey's the one that stalked you in the mountains, and he's like,
He stalks a lot of people.
he does.
Doesn't he?
Well, at least Casey's trying to get some good people on this show, because the rest of us aren't. But he was like, yeah, hey, some dude in a blue Nissan tracked me down and said I had to call you or text you and get on the show. So thank you, Casey, for that's my brother. He lives up in Big Bear.
He probably said, yeah. And after I found out he wasn't trying to get me to or solicit lawn work, he tried to get me to call into your dumb.
Casey's like, I'm kind of a big deal.
Yeah, Casey's a big deal up in Big Bear.
I don't know if you know, I'm kind of a big deal up here.
So Jared, thank you for agreeing to do this. I'm sure this was a mistake on your part that you will regret shortly. So Casey tracked you down because he saw you driving a new Bronco Sport with a sweet rack on top of it. Tell me a little bit about you and how you ended up having yourself driving around in a Bronco Sport.
Well, it's funny. Actually, I had an F-150 that we just bought last year. And the issue that I ran into was we got the baby, my wife, and the dogs. And I can't have all of them in the cab of an F-150 running around with my daughter in the back seat.
Yeah.
So I got kind of bored, and I started scouting around, and then I heard that the new Bronco Sport had come out, and it's like a perfect little commuter, but it also had some serious off-road kind of chops. We had XJs for quite a while, for a ways back. I've had a few of them, so we're used to off-roading, but at the same time, I got to have something that works for the family.
Yeah, you don't want to go get another XJ because you don't know that your family's going to make it home at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. Also, if we got T-boned, I need...
yeah.
So, there's a little bit more of that factor. So we picked it up, and this was during winter. So we went out to, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Sheep Creek out in Lido Creek area, after they had just gotten a pretty heavy snow. And we were slipping and sliding all over the mountain and having all kinds of fun in it. So we've been having a blast with that thing, taking it out every weekend. My daughter is comfortable in it, and the dogs and everything.
What's the size? Size-wise, what's it compared to?
So it's so hard because so they say that the Cherokee, the standard Cherokee, is slightly bigger. and that it's more comparable to a Compass if you think about that in terms
Really?
of size.
RAV4 maybe?
Well, that's
No?
the thing is when I pull up next to a Cherokee, the thing looks like it dwarfs the Cherokee.
Yeah, I
And
wouldn't have said it was. I thought it was bigger than the Cherokee, but not quite as big as like the full size Bronco, right? I thought it was some because I drive a Ranger, and is it comparable to the Ranger?
I would. Well, the thing that's tough about a Ranger is a Ranger. It's going to be on the Escape chassis,
Oh, okay.
so it's literally the Escape, but a little bit longer, I believe. Not longer. The Escape is a little bit longer bumper wise, but I think the wheelbase is a little bit different as far as the suspension goes. But in terms of size, that is the comparable chassis that the car is built around.
I drove by one on the freeway last week, and it looked the same. It looked roughly the same size as the as my wife's Renegade. To be honest with you, it didn't. It was smaller than I thought.
Really? So,
And I know the bigger one's coming out is still coming out.
Yeah,
but it was still relatively compact.
that's
I-
interesting.
That means
I'll agree.
it's good or bad. But my wife's Renegade, I think, for its footprint, actually has pretty good space inside. So.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I just think that I was expecting it to be a little bit larger than the Renegade.
Yeah.
And just based on the commercials that I've seen, not based on anything else. So the dimensions,
You know what?
dimensions that should, if we were a decent show that did any level of research in any way, okay, we would have had the answers to these questions. So I'm doing it right now. It says the Jeep Renegade is 167 inches long, 74 inches wide, and 67 inches high. And the Bronco Sport is 173 inches long. So it is 6 inches longer than the Renegade. Same width, 74 inches wide, and a little bit taller. So it's 6 inches longer and approximately 6 inches taller. And we all know extra 6 inches, man. That's all you need. That's all you need. So
I was going to say, if in that commercial, you thought, judging from the Bronco commercials, like it would look big, it looked bigger somehow. If you had me driving the Renegade in those commercials, you would think that it's like a Suburban.
yeah, like it could fit that guy. It must be huge.
Yeah.
Either that or you'd make it look like a go-kart
Yeah, it makes
because
it
he'd be
look like a
falling
clown-
out of the
clown
windows.
car, dude.
So, you know what?
I don't like the way you laughed at that, Jose.
I
I take offense.
You know what? I bet it is comparable. You brought up XJs earlier. I bet it's comparable to the XJ because the 1990 XJ was 165 inches long.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's still a little bit bigger than an XJ. And you know what?
It's about the same size. Actually, that's very similar to how it feels. And XJs feel small. They do. They're small cars.
You know, I had like 5 of them, and I always felt comfortable in the XJ, and I liked the wheelbase of the XJ better than the 2-door TJ, the Jeep. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to know how. I'd be curious to see the Bronco Sport wheel just based on those dimensions, because I bet it'd be a fun, nimble wheeler.
Yeah.
So you went from the F-150 to the Bronco Sport. Did you feel cramped at all when you made that move?
I'm not gonna lie, yeah. And it was a pain to try and find where to put all my crap every single time I went to the store.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, 100%. That is why. That is 100% why. I had Jose and I both had the Bronco on order. Jose just wimped out because he's a pansy. But the reason I didn't pull the trigger on the Bronco is because going from a 4-door truck to an SUV, I don't know that I'm ready to do that. Just because I remember how hard it is to put shit everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're talking about somebody who went from having 3, dirt bikes in the back of the thing with camping gear in the back of the truck to selling both the dirt bikes and going from that to just a straight on little crossover now, essentially. And yeah, it's been a lot of downsizing. I feel like I live in a tiny home, but with my car.
Is it comfortable though? I mean, even though it's smaller, it can still be comfortable.
So here's the thing: is we test drove a lot of cars, And before I made that, because I had to justify it to my wife. And the big thing for me was actually headroom. The car is really tall, and I'm 6'2", and I got long legs and stuff. When I sat in a Wrangler, I hit my head on the the door frame and that like cross member kind of on the roof, and I didn't like that. And then I sat in other cars, my head's right up there, and then I sat in the Bronco Sport, and I mean I had room for days above my head, and that mentally for me kind of takes away that claustrophobic kind of feeling that the car is small, and it makes it feel bigger.
And it looks like it's got a big front windshield because it's taller. It's got that big front windshield, which kind of gives you like the feeling of good visibility. And
yeah. The only thing I'll say is the sun visors, when you put them down, they don't fold all the way forward. So if you are tall, it folds like halfway down, and you cannot see anything. Like you can't see the road. It's like panoramic. You can see the hood of your car, and then you can see the wind visor or the sun visor, and nothing else. So that's one thing that's a big problem.
Oh, how funny! They missed that one. Did you? So it sounds like you did. Dirt bikes and outdoor stuff. Did you wheel the F-150 much?
No, the F-150 was a straight just utility kind of thing. Now, granted, I've always been the kind of person who thinks people get four-wheel drive and never use it. So it was two-wheel drive. It was EcoBoost. So we would take that thing and we would do more than the four-wheel drive people would ever try and, whatever. And I don't care because, the reality is your car's pretty more capable than you think it is.
Yeah.
But I would try and I took it hunting and just got stuck on a hill climb. I couldn't even get to the hunting trail. And I got super bummed, backed out, had to go find a park like by a bush and hike 3 miles extra because I couldn't get up this stupid hill because my F-150 with no weight in the back couldn't get up it. And so at that point, with us trying to go, let's go to the mountains. Oh, it's snowing. Okay. Have you ever tried to drive, a two-wheel drive truck in snow? It's like, it's the funnest thing ever, and it's also the dumbest thing
It's
ever.
fun as long as you're by yourself. Like if you don't, if you're by yourself, because if you die, whatever, and you don't have, you don't care what the truck looks like at the end of it. But if you've got a family with you and it's your nice truck, it's horrible.
No, yeah, and it's so embarrassing too. It's like I got this truck. Let me go do stuff with it. Oh, I can't.
That's the thing. Like
I can tell.
That's the thing. Like when you drive up to Big Bear, you see all these lifted, nice trucks, but they're two-wheel drive, and they're putting chains on. And you just drive by in your like stock four-wheel drive car, and you're just waving by.
Later, I put chains on my Ford Escort in high school to go skiing and snowboarding, and I swore I would never do it again. And I have never put chains on since I want to say 19. I've never put chains on since then, and that was like 212 years ago. So
213.
So you have taken the Sport, the Bronco, out and played in the snow and the dirt tell me about it. How is it?
It's great. We haven't ran into any issues. We had one problem going to Cleghorn, and that was when a really deep rut, would come up. The car just didn't have a lot of ground clearance.
Yeah.
I put the 1.5 inch lift that's available for the car through rough country on it. And if I could say anything that was my biggest regret, it was putting that lift on the car. I'm currently dealing with them. It was the only lift you can get at the time.
Yeah.
I'm currently dealing with them nonstop because I basically had to rip it back off my car. The linkage to the sway bar in the front, they include a drop bracket with their sway bar link because their sway bar links are too short. So they make this sheet metal little bracket. And it snapped in half and ripped out my wheel's rotary sensor on the front of my car.
Oh.
And so I got fed up with it. The whole thing drives like crap now. And so, but anyway, the clearance thing is the biggest issue. Trying to get over something. You can use traction boards as a bridge is what I started doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so going back to the Renegade, because I think that's now looking at the dimensions and stuff, that's probably a comparable vehicle. Matt wheeled the Renegade for a year and a half before he got his truck. And the only issue that he ever ran into was clearance. And we took it to Mojave, we did Cleghorn, we did a bunch of Pilot Rock, we did a bunch of stuff in that thing. And on the stock wheels, before we put the a 1-inch lift to get the 31s under it. But yeah, I could see where the clearance would be the only issue.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, I think that's just emblematic of that style of vehicle, right? I mean, it's you're not gonna come out with extended swing arms, or it's just you're gonna get the puck lift basically, and that's it. But you'll get your clearance. You're not gonna get a ton of articulation. But in the Renegade, it didn't matter. I'd have. There's plenty of times I'd go up on 3 wheel, just have one wheel up in the air and just kind of stink bug over things. But it would crawl over out of big ruts. I used those, the skid plates, that it came with. But, back in the day, you also used your, remember on your skateboard, the rails, right? When you were,
I don't think Jose and Jared are old enough to remember that. But back in the day, when you got a skateboard, it was the big fat skateboard. First thing you would do is you would go buy a skid plate, the plastic skid plate that bolted on the back so you didn't scrape up your tail, and the rails.
Wait, was it that plastic bubble piece that went on the backside?
There was the nose protector that you put on, and then there was the rails on the side, and then there was the.
You were lame if you put the skid plate. If you put the skid plate on the tail, that was lame because you couldn't ollie. But you still had the rails because you had to have something to grab. When you were not me, because I wasn't doing any moves like that. But you still used them to slide on curbs or rails or whatever. So that's same thing. Same theory.
Skateboarding in 1985 for everybody.
There were neon colors only, right?
Yes, you had to get them. Yeah,
it goes to show you about the age group.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, hard.
But that was also when you had boards that had kick-ass graphics, like a cab had the dragon on it or whatever.
Lance Mountain. I was a Lance Mountain and Tony Hawk guy. That all Powell Peralta. That's all I owned was Powell boards.
Hey, cab was Powell.
Yeah. After the first Veriflex or whatever that crappy Target brand was, my parents bought me.
Well, it got you out in the streets, skating with those other hoodlums.
Yeah. So the going back to the Bronco, what's the in you said it's got the 2.3 liter EcoBoost in it?
What trim level do you?
No. So it'll come with a 2.0 4-banger.
Okay.
Or you can get the 3-cylinder 1.5.
Okay.
And budget kind of put us into the 3-cylinder because then we could get all the nice packaging.
Mm-hmm.
So we just did that. But it still makes just under 200 horse and 200 foot-pounds of torque. It's not too bad. But the miles per gallon, I'll tell you, is not what they advertise at all.
I would agree with that in the Ford, but I think it's my fault that it's that way.
You should probably blame Rough Country for that too. For something I don't know why, but the gas mileage.
I was getting 112 miles per gallon before I put this lift on there.
I can't confirm nor deny that me and Matt actually spoke to a couple guys from said company.
Yeah,
and we kind of insulted them.
I talked shit to them the whole time. Come on, guys.
And there was alcohol involved, so
yes,
it was even worse.
It was alcohol. It was the Off-Road Expo, and their booth happened to be 20 yards from where ours was, and it was a lot of back and forth with these guys. I tried to keep it professional, but this is who I hang with. So how many? What kind of MPG are you getting?
Right now, my commute's 2 miles on the city, so. Pretty bad, 22 to the gallon.
Dude,
but
Jose gets 22 miles to a tank, bro. Yeah. He's got a 94 Land Cruiser. He has 22 miles. Cool. He's got to stop and fill up.
That's 3 gallons for me.
I think the Ranger's supposed to be 16, 18 or whatever, and I'm
get 12?
12, 15. But I also drive it like a jackass. You know what I mean? So I throw it into sport all the time. I'm whatever. What about the comfort and amenities of the interior? Is it a good, comfortable vehicle to drive, or do you have complaints about it?
Yeah, I would say it's pretty good. The problem with me being I got a 35-inch inseam. My legs are pretty long. So in any car I sit in, my knees are just automatically pinned against both sides of the driver cockpit. One on the door, one on the center console. And the door panel is loose from my knee constantly pushing against it. And I've only had the car for like 2 months.
Oh no!
Man.
You are not
the only complaint I would say.
You're not helping, dude. These guys are not fans of Ford, and I'm trying to convince
right here.
them.
Just making a list.
Yeah, of all the things.
Yeah.
This is the Ford sheet right here. Thank you. Thanks, Jared.
Yeah, these guys. Yeah, that's next thing you know, they're gonna start complaining about door panels on Fords.
When you were talking about trading in your F-150, I thought for sure you were going to say because it caught on fire and you had to get something else. So. But that's just what, Jared, that's what I do, is any opportunity to talk negatively about Ford, or if something negative about a Ford, just naturally, which of course will happen. I'm going to jump on that.
What do you drive?
I drive a Nissan Frontier that I drive the shit out of. And it's my daily driver.
I think we actually, my wife and I were sitting down talking about we're going to probably try and grab the new one that's coming out actually.
Yes.
In a few months whenever we can actually start getting info on it.
Yes.
Yeah, I had a Frontier before the F-150 actually. I love those cars, trucks.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, Rob in the chat said, do you have any warped windows? Thanks, Rob. I told
do you have the Funhouse edition?
So
did you get the Kaleidoscope edition?
So what the reference is, Jared, is my Ranger, the passenger window was warped. And so when I'd come up to an intersection, I'd go to look at it, like the cars would be all squashed like a funhouse, and my wife couldn't look out the side window because it made her sick.
Yeah,
I had to get it fixed.
That's funny. How do you warp?
Well, yeah. The funniest part was when I took it to the dealership and they're like, "We're not sure if we're going to cover that under warranty." And I'm like, "Well, you think I did that? You think I put that window in there?"
I'll tell you how it goes. When it wheeled off or it was on the assembly line, that piece of glass was perfectly fine. It's when they started putting the badges on, that's when it happened.
When it became a Ford?
Yeah, it just magically happened. I don't know. That's just what I heard. That's exactly the story that I heard.
So Matt also believes that there's someone at the Ford factory at the end of the line whose job it is to fart in the Ford before they close the door, so that when it's delivered to you, it has a special smell to it. That's
well, it's that, and they also deny you the right to do that, to be the first person. Because to me, it's like, oh man, it's a brand new car. Nobody's ever farted in this thing except for me, But no, not Ford. They won't even give you that.
So this is what you
he's looking at me like, are you serious?
This is what you signed up for,
I'm just
dude.
wondering how you can fart on command like that.
Well, that's what we said. We said it's a special skill. The guy gets paid really well, and his medical benefits have to be amazing because we don't know what he's eating.
Yeah, I'm still researching what it is he eats to be ready.
No, you're researching it because you want the job. You want the job. So enough. Enough.
I quit tomorrow to go have that job.
Some would say I've had that job already for at least 15 years.
Exactly.
Oh, so
that's great. So I'm sorry, Jared. I didn't mean for you to come onto the show. We've been trashing your car, just talking shit about each other.
That's
this. I would say this isn't normally how it is, but it is.
It pretty much is.
On our show.
So you got the sport, and you're an engineer by trade. And how do you go from being a new vehicle owner to now starting a whole brand called Yucca Manufacturing? Like what happened?
So we got the car, and then obviously we do a lot of stuff. So I needed to get a basket and a roof rack set up. We ordered the crossbars, and they were so loud and horrible that it sucked, and it looked like garbage. So obviously,
are you talking about the factory crossbars?
No, I ordered the cheap, $100 Mac, whatever janky ones that you can get.
Okay.
But I work in metal fabrication, and that's what I do for my main job, obviously, as an engineer in metal fabrication. So I knew I had the ability and the, means to make one myself. So I looked online, I found all the best designs that I liked, and then I went ahead and started designing, and I threw it together, and somehow it all came together on the first one. And everybody freaked out over it.
Well,
so we were like, obviously people wanted it, and I knew that it wouldn't cost me a lot of work to actually make some for a couple friends or whatever. So I made some for some forum people, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. And I don't know how it's done as well as it has. We only have 100 followers, but I get probably about 10 to 20 direct messages a day from people wanting it and talking about it and asking about it. And the actual feedback's been really good.
Well, it looks badass. So you guys go to yuccamanufacturing.com or on Instagram, the Yucca MNFG. It looks badass. And like we kind of joked around starting this conversation about how going from an F-150 to a sport utility, you realize you've got to find a place to put all your stuff. And you solved the problem that everybody has in that scenario. I got to put my stuff someplace. Oh, here's a cool ass rack to put on top of your rig and put your stuff on it. I mean, you've got the brackets for the traction pads. You've got on one of your images on your website, it's got the high lift rack. It looks like you got a roto pack set up. I mean, seriously, this is a great idea for a vehicle that, we just talked about is probably going to be, I believe it's going to continue to grow in popularity, and it's going to grow to the people that want it for the same thing you did. I need a comfortable vehicle I can put my family in and then still go out on an adventure, have a good time in. Oh, and when I go camping, I need a place to put my stuff. Here's my rack.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Ford, they did a good job of advertising that you can put stuff on a rack on there. But by the time you add traction boards and a trail jack to any roof rack or any, basket on top design, it ruins the ability to have anything else on there. And so that's why we threw them on the side. That, and my wife is 5'1", and if she ever needed to get access to any of that stuff, there's no way she could reach.
Mm-hmm.
So we put them on the side so we could actually fit our actual stuff in the actual, on the rack itself on top.
That's again, they're really cool. So tell me about the R&D process. How long did it take to go from I want to build a rack to this is a production ready product?
Oh, I don't know. Honestly, I mountain bike a lot after work, so that kind of pushed it back.
Which we will get to. We need to talk about.
Yeah. No, I want to say maybe 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks.
What?
After work. Yeah.
We've been doing this show for 4 years, and we haven't done shit that makes any money or anything of value.
You're right.
3 weeks.
What am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
So 3 weeks. How many different versions? Was it like one shot? You had it?
Oh, yeah. One shot. So I knew what I had at work to work with, and then we have CAD software. We use SolidWorks. So I took measurements. We scan stuff at work. And I didn't have the ability to actually scan because I can't roll the car in the scanning booth that we have. So it was about 400 trips outside and then back inside the office with a tape measure to get everything right that I could. And then I basically built a model of the car from the roof and the roof rails in the computer. And then from there, I can just sit on the computer and design it. And so I just played around with ideas back and forth, which you can do relatively quickly. And then you take the computer design and you can, laser cut and actually just have all the parts made based off the computer design. And I didn't need any jigs, any fixtures, anything like that. It was just straight shot. I built it and somehow it all lined up and worked.
Dude, when you say lined up, like it lines up. It accentuates the lines of the truck in such a way that it makes the truck look better.
Yeah, the roof, how it drops down.
Yeah.
And then we fit, I literally downloaded a side profile picture of the car and just traced it in this software and then went back and forth with a bunch of pieces of paper that I printed out of like a 1-to-1 that I cut out of cardboard to make sure that it was the right thing without having actually made it. So there's a little bit of that kind of stuff. But as far as the final cuts, yeah, I haven't made anything extra that got trashed.
So in 3 weeks, you make one for yourself, and you're like, hey, this is cool. And then, I'm assuming at that point you were just trying to solve your own need. You were just coming up with a solution for your problem. Yep. What's the next step? Because now you've got a website, you've got a brand name, you've got an Instagram, you've got orders. Like, What's the timeline and process to go from I solved my problem to hold on a minute, now I have a second job?
Yeah. We're still trying to figure that out. It's tough. I got really lucky. My wife is a senior level for media marketing and digital. So all the stuff, she basically took everything and made it look legit. And then so that kind of helped out with that. But the big thing that we're doing, we're obviously going to do this Bronco Sport thing until everybody else catches up, and hopefully we build a name and we're the Bronco Sport people as far as rack systems and utility goes. I'm working on lighting brackets. I'm working on, I just bought an awning. So I'm going to be, I got brackets going for an awning. But the big thing that I want to do is work on the baskets, trying to make some sort of utility basket that serves so many functions. I want to be able to get those traction boards like you talked about in the roto packs on the side of the basket. And then I want to be able to, be able to add utility to the basket by having that drop down door on the opposing side. So again, people like my wife that are 5'1" don't need to reach up and over some tall car that's now lifted with big tires on it to put their stuff in it. They can, drop the hatch down, put the stuff up on the edge of the hatch, and then slide it right in and shut it. And so I think that's going to be universal, and that's going to really grow and push and continue the business.
When you say basket, do you mean like a cargo box or an actual basket?
No, like those baskets that you see. But obviously, I mean, you see how my rack's designed. I got the slots on the side of it cut out so you can get bungee cord looped in there. I got the wind fairing on the front. It's edgy. It's boxy. It'll have that same theming. I kind of, if I had to come up with some sort of a phrase for it, would call it like a battle box instead of a basket.
Okay.
So it'll actually be, a lot more heavy duty. It'll use extrusions for the crossbars so you can kind of mount things to it like you can with a lot of other roof rack systems. And you won't have to worry about, the basket tubing, bending, things like that. It'll be overbuilt and strong, really kind of rugged to fit the overlanding and off-road theme that people really need to have in a basket and a utility kind of piece of equipment like that.
With that, you made a comment about the weight. So this thing looks super, super stout. Have you tested the brake weight? Do you know how much you can put on it yet? Because if not, I'm going to offer up Matt, and Matt and Jose can climb up on top and give you a rating.
I can tell you that the one that I threw on, we had 3 people standing in the middle of the rack system, so about 500 or 600 pounds. The problem is that Bronco Sport's not rated, it is static, but it's not rated for you to drive around with it, having that much weight on top of there. A couple of the people that we actually got these things on order for have rooftop tents. So that's going to be something that I'm working on with somebody in a few weeks here, actually getting one on there, throwing everybody in it, making sure everything fits and is going to work.
That would be, think about that comfort vehicle with off-road capabilities and a rooftop tent mounted on there. Yeah. That's the ultimate weekend warrior, right? That's a go everywhere, have a good time camping rig for the family.
Yep. That's what we're really trying to push for. Yeah.
Wow. So you build the rack. You said earlier you'd said something about forums, and so I'm assuming you had some pictures up and people went, "I want one." Is that how that started?
Yeah, it's basically what happened. I took the rack and then I posted it up and I was like, "Hey, does anybody else think, they would want something like this?" Because in my mind, obviously I knew people are going to want stuff like that, and I could reproduce these things no problem because I have all the means myself, obviously, to do it. So I posted it up and, I got some feedback. A lot of people liked it. And then I started getting direct messages. "Hey, can I buy it? Hey, I want to get it. Hey, how much does it cost? Do you have a website?" And I was like, "No, I don't have any of that. I don't know."
I just built it 3 days ago. No.
And the one I built was all one piece. And I'm like, how can you ship a 6 foot by, 4 foot rack system without having to pay, $600 to ship it or whatever? And it just didn't make sense. So I did have to do a redesign for the production style racks compared to mine, but they're basically the same premise, same concept, how it's built. But yeah, so I did that. And then, of course, I had some negative people. Everybody, we just bought, Joe's racks over there in the corner or whatever. And, we're just going to do theirs, but cool though. And, what's wrong with it? That's wrong. This is wrong. Yeah. We got, some negative feedback. But the reality is I took one of the guys. So my rack, the one that's on that car, is almost 70 pounds. And that's fine by me. It's a freaking rack system. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I need it to be strong. But the reality is if that car has a moonroof, it's regulated to only hold 100 pounds total dynamic weight.
Oh.
So by the time you throw the other stuff on there, you're almost overweight. So his, feedback came on there, and it kind of came off in a negative way, but I took it and I went back to the drawing board with my materials and how I cut things and everything like that. So the actual production rack is under 50 now.
Oh, nice.
And so, now you got 50 pounds to play around with if you have a moonroof. If you don't have a moonroof, you got over 100. And now you can do that rooftop tent. Now you can do those different things.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? On your website, you've got this really cool video of the Bronco Sport with the rack going through what looks like Cougar Buttes.
Yep.
And
that's where I ran into Casey.
Oh, okay. And Matt, I will tell you, watching it wheel, very, 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 very similar to watching the Renegade wheel. Mm-hmm. Same type of, like, he's got one wheel that goes up and it spins a little bit, but you can tell the intelligence in the vehicle goes, okay, I'm not going to use that tire anymore. Like, we used to say that about the Renegade, and when people would give the Renegade a hard time about articulation, to Matt's point earlier, it doesn't need it. If you have anything touching the ground, the Renegade, the technology figures out how to make that wheel pull, right? Yep. So,
well, yeah, I got that thing in places where, I got a lot of looks. Like, how did you get that thing up here? There was a few times that I'm guarantee you I trip people out.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm watching that video clip in Cougar Buttes. That's a really cool looking rig, and I think adding that rack to that vehicle really takes it from what could be considered more of a commuter to then now the adventure vehicle. You know what I mean? Now you're throwing camping gear on there, and you're going off road, and you got the traction pads, and it's like I could see that becoming something that someone would build their adventure around.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually changed our lifestyle. So I told you I ride mountain bikes. 5 weeks ago when I was just finishing the rack, I had a really bad crash, and I got my, basically ended my ability to do anything physical for a long, long time. I jacked up and broke and shattered my collarbone and everything else going on. So I was out, and then it's like, okay, now what do we do for adventure? I can't ride my bike. My wife can't, go wheel a kid around on the trails or whatever as easily because she's not going to ride her bike now. And then it was like, oh, we have this Bronco. Let's go, get lost for 6 hours at a time out in the middle of the mountains and go drive around all day. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's literally changed what our hobbies are at this point. I mean, we've been having a blast every weekend, and now we found a whole new passion.
Yeah, and just as soon as you said that you hurt yourself on a mountain bike, Adam in the chat room says, "Does this sound familiar, Cody?" So the pre-chat that we had was, it sounds like we have a lot of a similar story, wrecking ourselves, but yours looked like, he showed us the scar. It's pretty gnarly. Like, did they have to put plates and pin everything on your collarbone?
Yeah. So I don't know if you can see it because it's pretty dark in here now, but they had to cut it from here to the back of my shoulder. They were supposed to put a plate in like this big. And then when I woke up from surgery, I didn't know how big it was or anything. And then did my 2-week follow-up, and the thing's my entire collarbone length with screws going in it at different angles. Apparently a piece had shattered and gone down to my armpit. I walked around with the bone wanting to poke through the skin, like not just a little bit, like literally I had a horn sticking out of my skin for 2 weeks until I could get the surgery. And it had gotten so bad that he said it looked like a grenade went off in there.
Did you tell him that you're an engineer and you can laser cut your own bracket if you wanted to?
I'm not going to lie. I critiqued his work. I said, you know how to use a screwdriver, right? Yeah. Because these guys are doctors, right? So the reality is I'm sitting here as a fabricator and a mechanic for years and years. And then all of a sudden I got this guy who, is gonna sit in an office for 7 years and go to school, gonna sit there and use power tools on me.
Yeah,
exactly.
But they did a good job.
Wow.
Well, you have to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a mechanic division of in the surgical realm. It's just, let's get that box of screws and some extra strap. Let's put this guy's body back together again, and just hopefully he never gets another X-ray. We just tell him, you did it, dude.
Exactly.
There's like a staple in there somewhere.
Yeah.
What's that box of tech screws over there?
Yeah, exactly. Somebody run to Home Depot. We need some more scrap metal for this. Well, so how long are you down and out for? I mean, when do you think you can start riding again?
So I've been Saturday and today I started running because I'm pretty active as far as my mountain biking goes. So I know I need to start getting back at it somehow. But I don't think I'll be back on the bike for another 3 weeks, probably, just because of how bad it was. Yeah. So and being able, like the surgery, I didn't get the surgery for 2 weeks after the break, so that put me back quite a bit too. And yeah.
When it happened, were you doing wheelies in your front yard?
No.
When you
hold on, we're losing you, Matt. What's that? You're cutting out all of a sudden. I don't see it.
I'll keep asking these questions in the chat room. Go on. How did it happen? What was the? Please say it was cool. If it wasn't cool, just make it cool. That's my recommendation.
Yeah, no, I don't need to make up a story like the other guy in the room.
Oh, touche. I got wrecked.
Yeah, it was basically, maybe you're familiar, if you do the same trail over and over and over again, every couple days, you get really familiar with it and you start trying to go faster. But the reality is it's dirt and it can always change. I was riding a trail that I knew like the back of my hand, going down fast as I could. And some kid, I think, somebody built like an RC car jump in the middle of it around a corner. And so I come flying around the corner and it's like this sharp cornered little speed bump that I'm like, okay, I got this. So I pull up, but it's in a corner and the dirt was all loose from the kid building the jump. Like he didn't pack it down or do anything. So my front end just washed out and I ended up going down a ditch and landed on my head and shoulder.
Oh, where were you at?
Corona, Skyline Trail.
Oh, I've seen it, but I have not ridden it yet. No.
So there, yeah, just out there, there's a bunch of really fun stuff. There's a Troy Lee Trail out there, which is pretty good and steep. And it was towards the bottom of that.
Cody, yeah. I beg you stay off of that trail.
I'm writing it down. I'm writing it down. So I'm writing it down so I know not do not go to this. I'm making a note.
I don't think you'd have to worry. There's a lot of climbing involved, so I don't know how.
So not only are you making fun of me about being a shitty rider, now you're making fun of me about being fat. I appreciate that, dude. Welcome aboard.
You guys are talking smack on my car. I don't know what else to say at this point.
Good work.
Hey, you don't get a body like this by climbing a line, right?
It's misdirected because I got Mr. Dodgers over there, so I'm talking smack on my car, and then I'm taking that anger out on you because you ride mountain bikes and fell in the driveway.
Yes, and
Jared, you can come on every week if you want. I invite
You're in.
Come on.
You're in.
Get host if you like.
Yeah, it sounds like you're part of the show. It's
good in my book.
It's the mountain biking thing. I wrecked myself, and even my brother's in chat room saying that this guy fits right in. I wrecked myself hard. Surgery, the same deal. Like multiple weeks before I could ride again. I'm just now starting to get to the point where I want to go do trails again. But I'm still slow and old and out of shape. Jose and I did Fullerton. How many weeks ago was that? We did Fullerton Loop.
Maybe like a month ago.
It took us like 3 attempts to actually do Fullerton Loop, but we finally actually completed it, and that was an accomplishment.
Wow.
So what is...
Wow, because it took us 3 attempts? Or wow, because we should...
I'm sure, yes.
Yeah, well...
You know what? Screw you. We are not releasing this episode ever.
He's like, wow, you guys
it'll live in infamy on YouTube, though.
Yeah, no. It legit took us 3 attempts.
You guys are really shitty at writing.
Shitty and out of shape. It's not the like I can do a 10-mile loop, no problem, but the It was the inclines. It was the like we did the first time we did it. What stopped us the first time? Oh, my tire. The first time we did it, I blew out a back tire and we couldn't get it fixed. Okay. Second time we did it, I gassed myself halfway through. There's like, I want to say 6 or 7 good hill climbs, and I gassed myself by the 4th one, and I was out of water, and we couldn't go any further.
Did you gas yourself because you were trying to race Jose, or
no?
What?
Why? I had been at that point. I had been riding almost daily. I'd been riding a lot, and I felt really confident in my conditioning. Like I felt like I could do it. So when we hit Jose was taking a very mellow approach, and I was, as I hit the incline, I was trying to like power up it, thinking, okay, I had enough in me to go the whole way, and I just completely ran out of gas halfway through, and I didn't realize I drank all my water, and so we turned around.
You know who knew you didn't have enough? Jose. Jose was probably watching you like, this guy's going to burn out. We're not going to finish this trail today.
He totally did.
There's no way.
He totally did. And then the third time Jose and I did it, we made it, we took our time, but we got it done. So what is screw you. So what's the next steps, man? I mean, I feel like this, Yucca Manufacturing started super quick. It got off the ground super quick, and it's got a lot of legs. Like, where do you see it going from here?
I mean, so the big thing we want to continue to do is grow, like find a direction to go in as far as what we're going to offer. Right now, we're so new. It's like, oh, do I build a spare tire carrier? Do I do this? Do I do that? Do I try and do all these different things? And the reality is I've worked in industries, that are kind of self-made and stuff long enough to know that that's probably not a good approach. It's better to find what you're good at and continue to work on it. So my big thing is I don't want to try and jump to the next thing. I really want to hone in and fine tune these rack systems.
Okay. But
I want to make stuff
with that said, I have the absolute next thing for you. 100%. No joke. This is not Jose and Matt. Shut up for a second. I built a homemade mountain bike rack for my truck out of EMT and Simpson Strong ties from Home Depot. I guarantee you could.
I'm already laughing.
I know. I guarantee you could take that design and create an amazing mountain bike rack for trucks. So we got to hook up for lunch, and I'll show you. And I'm telling you, it's the next big thing.
Jared, you got to buy lunch. That's the trick. There, he's trying to get you to take him to lunch.
He forgets his wallet a lot.
For it.
So jerks. I don't know how easy it's going to be to take a PVC pipe and turn it into a bike rack.
EMT.
Dude. Oh, it's the best.
Maybe we could do something. I don't know.
PVC. Don't worry, man. It's Schedule 80. It's the heavy stuff, dude. And he used
the 200 psi.
Exactly. Don't worry. He cleaned.
I used the primer.
He sanded the
and Christie's Red Hot. Exactly. Yeah. See, we're on the same page. You know what I'm talking about. Look,
did you deburr it? Just.
The only way it would fit in better if it was on the back of your truck, the Nissan Frontier Gardner truck. That's the only thing that it's missing.
Okay.
I think
you got the Gardner truck.
Is it might double as a potato cannon.
Yes. So you can take it off. There you go. See, we're already collaborating. I like it. You guys, all of you suck. Man. All of you. I just met you, Jared, and you suck. So the racks, as you are, what's the turnaround time? Like if someone were to say, "Hey, I want to order one," how quick are you able to get those out the door?
So I just placed a PO with my guy for the laser cut parts this morning. And I should be able to have the racks done, bent, painted, and in a box shipped in 2 weeks from now.
Wow.
It's not bad.
That is not bad.
Built to order.
Yeah, built to order. And a lot of that, we've talked about it multiple times. A lot of the parts that you're getting for your rigs are 6 to 8 weeks out now. I mean, it's, if you're able to do that in 2 weeks, that's damn.
You're winning.
Yeah, you're winning for sure. You talked about the light brackets and some of the other accessories. Like, what's the process of? Is that just trial and error, just like creating a couple, see how they work, and then coming up with something that you can finally sell?
Yes, yeah. I mean, the reality is what I need to do, because I don't have a lot of means or budget, but I end up having to buy the actual items myself, get them home, see how it needs to be mounted. and then I got to take measurements, or what I'll do is I do have the ability to scan smaller objects at work. So I can scan the light bar, I can scan this, and I can scan the awning that I just got, or the Rotopax tank, or this or that, and then just take that and put that information in the computer where the rack is already designed.
Oh.
So then it's just as easy as lining things up and making sheet metal brackets to bolt it all together, sending that out to the same guy that laser cuts the rest of the rack parts for me. And then, I get them done from there, and then I'll bend them out and get them powder coated, and they're good to go. So they should be pretty quick processing to get the R&D done on those items. And then, just as simple as getting an order out for them.
That's awesome.
The rack crossbars are aluminum extrusions, which means, I don't know if you've seen that T-slot framing. A lot of people use them. But basically, you can slide nuts into the actual framing itself, and then you can screw brackets and stuff right on top. So I got all kinds of different things in the works as far as what is available to use for those, because now you can put stuff on top and make brackets, or the sides and things like that.
Are you using those T-head notched nuts, or are you using like a spring nut for unistrut?
It's basically a little plate with two. So they're all going to be different things. You can use any of those. Those will fit into the framing itself. But as far as what I'm going to offer, I'm working with different types of things right now. But the one that I'm currently using is basically a long nut, and then it has two threaded portions that stick out of it, and it fits in there. So you're mounting on two locations on one long skinny nut that actually slides inside the railing itself, holds it in place.
Wow, I would think from there you could create all kinds of utility for whether it be shovels and hijack lifts or whatever.
Yep.
At that point, it's almost with that channel, it's almost universal. You could create almost a universal bracket for whatever somebody needed, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. So I got like a spare tire carrier, because people are going to probably want to throw their spares up on top, and that'll bolt just straight into the framing that's already on there. Things like that.
Is the spare on the Sport under the cargo section in the back? Yes. So you could remove that, put the spare on top, and have a whole.
And then, that's exactly what the idea is. That's why I was playing around with a spare tire carrier, like a hitch mounted, like a rigged or something like that. The problem is finding one that's compatible with a 5-on 4.25 bolt pattern or a 5x108. I gotta try and make sure I either don't find the information, or I find that it's not actually compatible with what's out there. I can make my own, wheel plate, obviously, with what I can do. But it's like, do I buy somebody else's product, then throw my own wheel plate on their product already? Do I just make my own for me? Do I make something better? Maybe instead of a swing out hitch, I put something on rollers and it slides out. So in case you're in a tight spot at the beach, you don't have to swing it out to get the hatch open. Mm-hmm. That way you don't have to worry about hitting the car behind you or having to do like the back, trying to figure out a way to actually get the thing out to get the hatch up, because you have to swing out.
And
stuff like that.
So the hatch does lift up on the Sport? I saw the pictures on your website. Yeah.
So you have a lift glass will pop up.
Oh, okay.
And then you'll have the actual hatch will lift up itself too. The whole thing.
Damn, dude. It sounds like you got, it sounds like you took this, I need to solve my problem, and took off like in the matter of weeks to a full-fledged business idea. And now all these potential paths to go. That's super exciting, man. I'm really impressed with what you've accomplished just in a short period of time, and the product looks fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. It's been a lot of hard work. It really has.
It does. It looks the rack looks awesome. It really it looks like something the Ford could have plopped on there from the factory. It also reminds me of something. I can't spot it, but it reminds me of like a similar style, like how it's almost like modular looking. It'll come to me probably when you're not on, but it's like, oh man, what does that remind me of? I've seen that look somewhere, but almost like you were inspired by something. But I'm just throwing it out there. But anyhow, it looks great. It really does.
Yeah, so none of what you said makes sense, sir.
I'm just saying, like the styling of it. I don't know. Like, it looks familiar to me.
And
it'll come to me.
And Matt, you made the comment about being modular. So look, you talked about how you made it modular for shipping and all that stuff. Roughly, how long does it take to put one together once you get it out of the box?
Once you get it out of the box, for me, because I know the thing like the back of my hands, I can get one together in about 20 minutes, Dude. But the beauty is you're going to need only a set of hand tools. So there's no drilling, there's no cutting. The instruction video that we're going to be putting out here in a couple weeks is actually going to be taking place out in the middle of the dirt parking lot to prove a point that you don't need a garage, you don't need a driveway, you don't need tools.
Can we please have Matt and Jose put it together on film? Can we please?
No, because I need it to look good.
That's the right answer, sir.
I just want to watch them do it. It would be fun as hell. If anybody ever saw the video that we have of us doing the lift kit on Matt's Renegade, which just sits in my hard drive because we've never released it, you would all see how fun it is to watch Matt work with tools. Matt and Casey beating the crap out of things with hammers, like gorillas with tools. That's cool. When do you plan on doing that?
It's going to come out in a couple weeks. We're working on it.
Okay. And then just for the additional products that are coming out soon, you're just going to keep posting them up on social media, on Instagram and on the website. So the website again is yuccamanufacturing.com, and the Instagram is Yucca MNFG. Where'd you come up with the Yucca? That's cool. I like that. Like the Yucca plant. Where'd you come up with that?
Exactly. Yeah. They're everywhere. You go out to, like you said, you go out to Cougar Buttes. There's Joshua trees everywhere, and Joshua Tree Manufacturing sound a little long-winded. So I went with Yucca because it's every single time I've been riding dirt bikes out in the desert, you see a Yucca. It's pretty cool. They're cool looking plants.
Yeah. I love it.
Really it.
I love I love the whole vibe. I love everything you got going. And I think to see something that's and kudos to your wife, to see something this polished, this quick, like I'm looking forward to what the rest of it's going to look like from a brand and a product down the road, because you've pulled this together in a very short period of time, and it looks like it's, something that's been around for a long time, and you wouldn't know it was, you made it at work on your lunch break.
Yeah, I don't know how it's all coming together. My wife put together all the media on the site for the most part, and then we put an application to a firm, and then a firm picked it up like immediately, which I thought, it could be, Jim's racks, with all the pictures out of a garage looking like I sell it on OfferUp. And I can't imagine a firm would be cool with that. Yeah. So I was kind of surprised that they were like, all right, yeah, here you go. You're good to go. And we integrated it that same night.
Wow. Yeah, you see it. So what he's talking about is Affirm, AFFIRM. Affirm is a financing company. You can apply and buy one of these right on their website using Affirm as a financing option.
Yeah, credit line.
That's awesome, man. Look, I'm super impressed with what you've got, what you've done. I'm super impressed with the way you've handled Matt and me today. I think you fit right in with the group, and I'm looking forward to watching what you do next. We're gonna keep an eye on. I think as the brand grows and you have more offerings, I think it's gonna be interesting to see how they take off with the growth of the Bronco Sport, because I really do think that vehicle is gonna start to grow and really be the adventure vehicle that we think it is.
Yeah, every day on the forum and on Instagram, there's more and more people picking theirs up from the dealer. It's just continuing because they're still arriving off the trains.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, anything else for us before we end the call? I thank you so much for taking the time. I know my brother stalked you and forced you to do this, and I'm certain that you're going to regret this later. But thank you for doing it, man.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. And you're right, he did stalk me. My wife was like, who's this guy coming over here in the middle of the desert? Why does he need to bug us? I was like, he's probably just talking about the car. And then he came up and shoved a business card, and I was like, man, it's kind of pushy.
He's kind of creepy. But
he's like Chris Farley and Tommy Boy trying to sell brakes.
He is Chris Farley. He is Chris Farley trying to sell brakes. You could put the poop in a box.
He's like, look, I can get a good look at my butcher.
Yeah, that's Casey. But someone's got to do it because the three of us aren't doing anything to promote this show.
There you go.
Well, all right, man. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate the call. Have a great night and keep us informed as to what's coming up next, man.
Yeah, I will. I really appreciate the time.
All right,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks, man. Have a good night.
Thanks for coming on, man.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Hey, are you looking to upgrade your PC, whether it be for gaming or for video production or whatever your needs are? Go to evga.com and check out their products. They make top-of-the-line graphics cards, power supplies, gaming keyboards, audio cards, cooling systems, accessories, cases, motherboards, you name it, they've got what you need to build a PC. They've stepped up and helped us build a really solid machine for the streaming that we've been doing on YouTube. And if it wasn't for these guys, we'd still be fumbling around trying to figure it out. Please support them. Go to evga.com. At checkout, use the code Trailchasers, and you can get up to 10% off anything you purchase. So go to evga.com, use the checkout code Trailchasers to get a discount. Thanks, EVGA.
You're listening to a 4x4 Radio Network podcast.
The Trailchasers podcast is a member of the 4x4 Radio Network. If you want more off-road shenanigans in your ear holes, go to 4x4radionetwork.com to hear episodes of the Jeep Talk Show, the 4x4 podcast, the Center Steer podcast, and On the Trail with Kevin and Scott. All right. Thank you, Jared, for joining us and for telling us about your product. Again, I'm super impressed and looking forward to what the next steps are. I do want to take a minute, though, and talk about that. So Jared comes on the show. Mm-hmm. Matt rails on him for 45 minutes about owning a Ford.
It wasn't 45 minutes. It was
25.
Yeah, it was like 34
and
36 minutes.
And every week we spend half of the show making fun of my Ford Ranger. And I will tell you that in recent weeks, there was an Instagram post where somebody said where one of our guests had posted up something on social media, and one of the comments was, "I tried to listen, but they make fun of Jeeps too much, so I couldn't listen anymore." and then we recently got a message from a friend of the show. You know who you are, wink, wink. After we were making fun of the Gladiator, I got a DM that was like, "What looks like you're really bashing my truck on the last episode." And I was all, dude, in all honesty, like, we're an equal opportunity bash fest. We don't pull punches on anything. And it dawned on me that Jeep owners are whiny. Like, is that the direction Jose's going to go? Like, when he gets this Gladiator, is he going to be like, "How come you're making fun of my truck?"
I'm going to make fun of it.
I'm just saying that there was a third one. There was a third instance where a Jeep owner was mad because we were making fun of their truck.
That's funny.
And no one ever gets mad about the Frontier being a Gardner truck or the Ford braking.
That's because it's obvious, right? Like, hey man, your truck is owned by like every landscaping company in Southern California. No, what am I supposed to, like, how dare you talk about my durable truck that runs for 500,000 miles and can take a bunch of garden tools to your job?
It only costs $18,000.
Yeah, and I bought it for a dime on a dollar. Like, whatever. You can't really. How do you get defensive about that? That's a badge, really. As far as Jeep owners being sensitive, it's probably because it's like a support system where there's a bunch of them that are, these are amazing vehicles. And then, well, dude, why did it catch on fire? Or you snapped that axle, or, something broke. Oh, well, they're not, we're like, we are the people's media. Do you remember that? We haven't proclaimed that in a while.
No.
And so when somebody with the clout that we have comes out and starts talking negative about it, it's shocking. Like, oh my God, I can't believe somebody's going to come out and say something negative about Jeeps or, Gladiators or whatever. But I mean, the reality is, I don't know why the sensitivity, but if you think about Jeeps breaking down, well, that's what most people take to go wheeling, right?
Yeah,
like
percentage wise, yeah.
If everybody took Frontiers out and only Frontiers,
yeah, you'd hear
and they made up that
Frontiers
gap,
breaking
you'd see
down.
a lot more Frontiers.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
so,
that's the direction.
The rub. Like it's like you see all these Jeeps out on the trail for a reason, like because they're the most capable, purpose-built vehicle for that.
Yes, and they're absolutely fantastic at what they do. But to your point, there's 1,000 Jeeps. There's roughly the same amount of Tacomas now,
for sure.
But then as you get down to the Frontiers and the Rangers, there's a handful of them. So if one of them breaks, it's a big deal.
Dude, Tacomas break. Dude, they break those tie rod end links like crazy. So remember the FJ at the Eco Crawl?
Yes.
How the wheels just went.
Yes.
Yeah, that happens. You see YouTube videos, and that's the first thing that breaks on all Tacomas or FJ Cruisers are those tie rod ends.
And that's another thing. People in Toyotas are bringing their cameras when they're wheeling. Nobody in a Frontier is like, I got to videotape my Frontier wheeling. Like, nobody gives a shit about seeing my Frontier going over some shit. That's the math, basically, is what it boils down to.
Yeah, and
why they're being sensitive about it is a whole nother thing. I don't know.
I think we recently, over the last several months, we've had as many negative comments or bashing on the Tacoma as we have on the Jeep as well. The difference is, like, a lot of the people we know and hang out with are in Jeeps. We don't have as many Tacoma owners.
Hey, real quick, my brother-in-law bought a Tacoma last night, and I drove around the block in it. It's not as slow as you say it was. I mean, it's not the fastest thing in the world, but
no,
it had some get up and go.
Oh yeah, it wasn't as much of the get up. It has a 3-speed transmission.
Well,
you get one of those 3 gears. That's the thing. That was the thing that bothered me is when it
has 6, sir. Excuse me.
I doubt it. It felt like 3 when I drove it. It felt like
when you're always hunting for gears, like when you're going from 6 to 2, it seems like you only have 3 gears.
Yes, that was the big thing for me. It was it would rev up super high and then clunk into the next gear. It wasn't like a smooth transion. Same thing on the down.
I didn't drive it. The person that was driving it floored it, and I'm like, this thing has a pretty good pep to it.
I still think I could beat it.
Oh yeah. Even Matt's truck could beat it.
Yeah, even Matt's truck.
Lifted with the 33s, I'd probably beat it.
Yeah,
but
I had a guy in a full size older Chevy Silverado try to take me off the line today, and he got schooled. I mean, I was driving carefully, dear. So I thought it was interesting, and I'm giving this person a hard time because I know he's going to listen to this episode.
He's in the chat room.
No, it's not that one. It's not. No, it's not. Oh, you thought it was Adam?
No.
Who'd you think? Oh, who'd you think it was?
Well, the person that rhymed with
the other
Cave.
person.
No. That person is not in the chat room today. He hasn't been in the chat room in a while. But I know he listens, and I just thought it was funny that I wanted to give him a shit about it.
I think that's the point of the show. Our show is, I think we do make fun of everything equally. Your truck, your Ranger gets more, but that's because you're on the show every week. If you weren't on the show, touting how comfortable your Ford is or whatever, wherever the hell you want to talk about, then we wouldn't talk so much trash about it. But I'll talk about Chevy, I'll talk smack about anything. But I also expect people to talk trash, about me or my truck or whatever.
Yeah,
and
that's how you know we like you.
That's who we are. Yeah, that's who we are.
You should start worrying if we're not talking shit about you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, that's, and you know what, that goes in construction. And Cody, you've said this about your parents, or specifically your dad. Like, if he's not talking shit about you, then there's probably he probably don't like you that much,
Yeah.
But the fact that he's willing to come out and say, funny negative things or observations is a good thing.
So,
and it's like that in construction too.
I've never been insulted by your dad, but I've never spoken to him long enough to be insulted.
Yeah, once they move down, dude, you're gonna
5 minutes.
Yeah,
you haven't been around them for 5 minutes.
Doesn't take very long. Doesn't take very long. So looking at a handful of comments here. So we get these random ass. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. We get these random ass comments on the YouTube live stream. That's just like a timestamp and a link. Like, who thinks I'm going to click on that? Like,
click on it. Dude.
What makes you think? What makes you think that I'm going to click on that?
Click on that with Jose's computer.
Yeah, my work computer.
Work computer.
Exactly.
So last week's episode, we got some comments on the show from Sexy Dave, Trail Adventures TV. Another great episode. So good to meet up with Jose and Anza Borrego. Can't wait to adventure the Mojave with the TC fam. As long as we don't have the kiddos that weekend, kids will be going back to school soon. So fingers crossed. Miss you guys. Yeah, you know what? We're finding out that Eastvale schools are year round, and Presley is either going to be starting school in July or August, and we have no idea. Like, it's ridiculous. We have no idea what school's going to look like and what that's going to do, because the year round school is like random. If you start in July, you get this month off. If you start in August, you get this month off. It's all bass backwards. So I don't know what that looks like for trips and stuff.
I want my kids back in school every day, year round, just forever.
Our buddy,
let them catch up.
Our buddy Austin Huatala says that it sounds like Jose knows a bit too much about ASMR videos. Better delete your browser history before the wife hears.
It's too late. Dude. It's too late.
He was.
She know what she signed up for, right?
he was kind of the expert, right? At that, I don't understand.
It's that old elk, dude. It turns people into sex workers.
Interesting.
Wait, what are you guys just drinking that straight? Shouldn't I have something else in there, like, to help with,
it's that
with
good.
that?
Yeah.
Sex work. Wow. How much did you make some money on the side there on that?
I didn't.
Mud Raider said, talking about the Matt Has Topics episode, he said, seriously, no likes. It sounded like Matt hurt himself thinking about doing the show. You got to give him some credit. Hence, the show deserves a like. Well, thank you, Mud Raider. And
no, don't do it. Don't, you'll just encourage me to keep trying to do stuff. Nobody wants that.
So going back to Rob, he sent us a video from Motor Trend, 9 reasons why you need a Jeep Gladiator. What do you think those 9 reasons are?
You hate money.
Right.
I haven't actually watched the video. I'm asking what you think the 9.
You hate money should be like the number one thing.
Number one. So on MSN Autos, there's a Motor Trend link for why you should 9 reasons why you need a Jeep Gladiator. And then he sent another one for new Ford Bronco previews aftermarket support for RTR, ARB, and 4-wheel parts.
Apparently, so Easter Jeep Safari was this past week.
Yes.
So Ford rolled up in like 5 or 6 Broncos.
Badass Broncos, yes.
Apparently they were being kind of douchey.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No.
But this is coming from Jeep people.
A Ford owner? Or
that
Ford
does
people?
not sound like Ford people at all.
That's so rare. I mean, were they farting in everybody's cabs and stuff?
You know what? I don't see an organization rolling up on a Jeep event like that with a clearly superior vehicle and being mean about it. I don't know. Were they? No, I'm just joking. Were they seriously?
That's where you hear like comments. I've seen comments on YouTube videos and on IG. Apparently,
were they my comments? My other accounts.
Yes,
that is interesting. They definitely rolled up in a bunch of really nice Broncos, and I would think it'd be a good opportunity for them to kind of show their chops and keep up with the Jeep brand. But I can't imagine they would. If I was the one that was organizing that, I would be like, hey, play it cool, guys. Lay low, just roll around, like have a good time.
If you're going to do that, you have to do what every comparable Jeep is doing, right? So
and better.
Actually, yes, and better. So you if there's a stock Rubicon
Yep.
You know, doing whatever trail it is, and you need to like do the exact same thing. You know, if you're doing some stupid trails that you're just, you know, there to piss on everybody's parade, then yeah, that's douchey. You better be out there marring those trucks up for sure.
Yeah.
Or at least trying to.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like, you should just get in line with everybody else. And when there's 25 JKs and JLs or whatever going through a trail, you just tool through it. And they wouldn't have had to say anything if they didn't just say anything and went, hey, did anybody see this Bronco that went everywhere the Wrangler went?
Yeah, but that's an uncontrollable, like, it's not a controlled area. So Ford would never agree to that. It's not like you can't determine the outcome on that. So when they set up these like media drives, like they set up a course that they know obviously is going to get through.
Yeah, but so let's take Fins and Things as a trail out there.
Dude, I've never been.
I know, but Fins and Things is an iconic trail, right?
Yes.
And I guarantee at some point one of the EJS trails is going to be Fins and Things.
Yes.
So you go out last month and you test run Fins and Things and make sure you can do it. And then you get in line with everybody else to do Fins and Things. You know what I mean? I don't think it needs to be any more than that. Like they could have just gone and hung out and and I guarantee if you're in an environment where there's 200 vehicles to 1,000 Jeeps tooling around a trail and this one Bronco is going the same direction everybody else is and making it happen, you know, that's all it would have taken.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't...
Doing it on that Jeep Safari weekend is pretty douchey.
Kind of.
You could have done it. You could have done it on any other weekend.
I mean, you have 51 other weeks you could have done.
Yeah, exactly. And then you could have called it whatever you wanted. You know, even if it was the week before or after, you could have called it the Bronco Takeover, whatever. I don't know. It is. Whatever.
The more Eastern
it is douchey.
Safari.
Yeah. I mean, I would be interested to know, like, to dig into it and find out if, like, where Jose gets his information from.
The internet.
And but looking at the vehicles,
it's in the same spots I get the ASMR videos.
Okay, yeah. Good to know. but looking at the video in the article. You know, they had some ARB. They have an ARB branded truck that's got a bunch of that ARB stuff on there. There's RTR vehicles, which makes some really badass Fords. And like they've got.
We interviewed them sort of at the event.
Yeah.
Well, me and Matt tried to. We're getting told what to do. And we're like, F this.
Yeah.
Bang.
Damn it. Yeah. It was. I don't know if I would call it an interview, but yes,
it was something.
I talked to a guy.
You talked to a guy one time, and but I mean the Broncos that they have are badass. That's it, man. That's the thing that's killing me. Is like every time I see a Bronco, I'm like, that's badass. I want one, and then I have to remind myself that it's still a sport utility. Like it's, you know, no matter how badass of a sport utility is, it doesn't have a truck bed, and you know, I don't know.
Yeah,
and you just got the kaleidoscope windows fixed.
Kaleidoscope.
You don't want to have to go through that. You don't want to have to go through that again. And then, you know, door panels. I mean, you're probably going to want door panels that don't rattle loose or whatever in your truck.
My door panels don't rattle yet.
No, not yours. But
Rob sent something for you, Matt. It's an article that says catching up with baseball great Steve Garvey, and it's a video on April 1st, 2021. So I don't know if it's an April Fool's joke.
Oh, don't open it. That's a trap. That is a trap.
I am not.
I'm not falling for that, Rob.
No,
way.
I went to the link. It's on CBS. It's a CBS affiliate that's got a video. Looks like Steve Garvey's.
He took that video and then saved as and renamed it some other shit and then sent it to you. I know these things. I don't trust people, and look where it's gotten me.
It's like puppies and kittens video. Sure it is.
I told you there's two people that send me links that I don't trust opening, and Rob is one of those.
Exactly.
And then he also sent a link to a Craigslist posting for a pop-up tent car topper, $900 in Vista, and it's a hard hut, so it's one of the clamshell hard hut ones. but it looks like it's been farted in a lot. It is for $900. It looks rough. I don't know that I
spend $100 more and buy a new one.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Like for $900,
you probably buy a new one for less.
Yeah, it's rhino lined, which makes me believe that there was a problem and they had to rhino line it to stop it from leaking. Lightweight and strong, couple years old, $900 firm. Yeah, I don't know, Rob.
A firm tent.
It's a firm price on the tent. Not a firm tent.
Oh, sorry,
Jose. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, you're right. I think for a little bit more money,
I think for the same money you can buy a new one.
You think?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe not a clamshell. The
I mean, you can go on Alibaba and one of those sites.
Alibaba. Yeah, it'll take 6.5 months to get to you because it's being shipped from India. And then
usually you get a good discount on a used clamshell. Usually discounted pretty good.
There's 2-for-1 deals usually.
I don't know what they were doing in that tent or what they lined it with.
So on to the next thing.
Laughlin.
Dave in.
Yeah, that's the natural progression.
Oh, God.
Just go right to Laughlin. That makes sense to me, dude. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's talk about Hummers.
What?
Right, that's the next.
Laughlin, clamshell,
and Hummers.
So Dave asked if we'd seen the new Hummer EV. Did you guys see that at all?
I haven't seen the video yet.
So they released the new Hummer EV. It looks badass. It looks like an upgraded. I mean, like a new Hummer. It's all electric.
Hence the EV name.
Yep, they've got the truck too. They've got the truck version and the SUV version.
So can we pool our yearly salary?
I was just about to say, any guesses on what it goes for?
It's like $120, dude.
Doesn't this thing lift itself? Like it has like air ride where it can go up like some crazy amount, and it like crawl.
It's got crab walk. Yeah, it turns sideways, and
this is like that conversation we've had a couple of times where, well, where's the limit? If you have something that literally levitates and you could just, and there's like a fan that comes out like Avengers, like the
you'd be literally off-roading.
Yeah, exactly. You just, fly up a hill. That's kind of where we're getting with this thing, seems like.
So the Hummer EV2 starts at estimated MSRP is $80,000, available spring of 2024.
Why announce it so early?
I don't know. Hummer EV2X is $90,000, expected in 2023, spring of 2023. The first one, the EV2, is 2 motors, 250-mile range, 625 horsepower, and 7,400 foot-pounds of torque.
Let's get Sexy Dave to buy one.
He knows the prices. He's I think he's already planning on buying one.
The 2X is got 2 motors, 300-mile range, 625 horse, 7,400 foot-pounds. The 3X is $100,000. MSRP is $99,995. Fall of 2022. 3 motors, estimated 300-plus mile range, up to 830 horsepower, up to 11,500 foot-pounds of torque. 0 to 60 in approximately 3.5 seconds. And
0 to 60 as soon as you drive it off the lot.
No shit. And then the Hummer EV Edition 1 is $112,595. Comes out the fall of 2021. 3 motors, and all the other stuff is blocked out because the reservations are full. So however many reservations they had for the $112,000 version is gone.
I want to work in the same bill or same title position as any of these people that just bought this. I want to do what you do, sir.
Or ma'am.
Yeah.
Where's 3 motors? Where's the third motor?
I got to tell you, I'm going to have to kill you.
Yeah, you have to put the first payment down, and then they'll let you know where that motor is. Yeah, you got that extra motor. How do I know?
But on that Tesla model, you can get one motor or two motors, right? So the two motor just has a motor at each wheel, and not
each axle.
Yeah, so I'm saying. I'm sorry, you're right. Each front and rear axle, quote unquote axle.
You know what I mean.
So what would the third one be?
You don't want to know where it's at.
No, I'm stumped. Like, where would the third motor be? Would it be as like is that the transaxle for the crab walk, the sideways?
No, because that's controlled. But if you were going to do that, it would have to have a motor on each independent tire.
Adam is saying it's one in front and two in back.
Okay.
So one in each of the rear wheels, and then one in front for the two.
Both.
Tag blurring. And then Dave says what Adam said. So apparently these guys researched this shit. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Don't you guys work?
That's
that was me like a month ago.
Yes.
I would have the answers to all this.
Yeah. Now you don't.
Yeah. Whatever you guys do, don't get together and start an informative podcast, please.
So
we don't need any more competition.
No, these things they're amazing, dude. But that is not designed for the common person. So remember months ago we had that conversation about electronic vehicles, and if someone did the analysis that said yes, you can buy an EV for $70,000 versus a $50,000 truck, but over the life of the vehicle it would match out. This blows us out of the water. Like if you're spending $100,000 on an EV, there is no amount of savings.
Oh no! No, this is pure gluttonous.
Yes,
spending.
This is 100%. I don't know what to do with my money. I trust me. If I had an extra $100,000, I would love to have one. But I do not see a world in which I will be driving one of these.
What's crazy is you're gonna see them everywhere.
I know.
That's the problem I got. It's you're gonna see these things everywhere, and what do these people do?
There's some 20-year-old kid, right now,
he's already
working at Target. That's
the Russians, about selling organs.
He's working at Target. I think back to when I was in my 20s working at Target, mortgaging, living at home, mortgaging, paying $1,000 a month for a car payment.
Yeah, I remember when I graduated high school, a year or two after, the STI had just. The Super STI came out in 2004, so a year after I graduated high school.
Mm-hmm.
And a buddy of ours got one. And he's like, I'm like, dude, how are you affording that? And he's like, a lot of overtime. He was paying $800 or $900 a month. Just working, living. He was just working.
Yeah.
He had to work overtime for him to afford that car, living at home. But he had the most badass car on the street then.
Stefan Barecki, he said in the chat, I can't wait to see some young YouTuber jump it. That would be amazing.
That's going to be, yeah. I'm really curious to see. I'm really curious. They're kind of, I don't want to say they're, well, they are. I mean, the pictures are very this thing blasting through the desert. They've had several videos of it, off-roading. They're pushing it as an off-road vehicle. I'm curious to see how it will stack up and how it will handle.
I feel like it's going to blow everything out of the water.
You think?
The only issue is that range anxiety, dude. It's not like you can just go fill up your fuel tank anywhere you want.
Yeah, but what was one of them had?
So you get 300 from here to Death Valley. I mean, how far is that? It's 200, right?
Yeah.
You know what? So thinking about that, though, if this thing's that capable, and the infrastructure is not going to be there, we always finish up at Razor Road, and there's a gas station right there, right? Okay, that's convenient. They're never going to. Who knows how long from an electrical charging station being in a similar scenario at the beginning and ending of trails and stuff like that. But that's kind of if this becomes popular and you start seeing electric off-road vehicles, you're going to see an aftermarket solution to that. If they're that good, if it's that advantageous or that, for performance reasons to have an electric vehicle off-roading, maybe you'll see trailers with a mobile charging station that you pull around with you, just your tent trailer or whatever that has that capability. Maybe it has a solar panel Hashtag tap. I'm creating this.
Tesla's already tried it. The solar panel that charges while it sits in the sun. The problem is you can't generate enough power from the solar panel to charge the battery fast enough.
But if you hold on, you launch it into space, and now it's closer to the sun, and then it beams the energy down to your your vehicle.
Just go up a bigger hill. You're closer to the sun.
Or you have it. It's the solar panel.
Now you're thinking, Jose.
The solar panel is mounted on a drone. Oh, speaking of drone, Dave, sexy Dave, if you're still listening, I think I might need your services in 2 weeks. Well, we'll talk offline.
What?
I know he.
Bring that whiskey.
I think I know
elk ready.
He and his son have a drone, and they do awesome footage. I have something going on in 2 weeks that I need footage of.
You need his services.
Yes, that's all I'm saying. I want to. So, anyways, maybe what if you put the solar panel on like drone type propellers with a tether, and then at what you do is you launch it up into the air, and like when you're parked, it goes all the way above the cloud level out into the atmosphere, right?
Yeah, but isn't
balloon, dude?
Just good old weather balloon.
Weather balloon, okay. Yeah. Or have you seen the memes? It was like a Prius that had a like a tow hitch with a gas generator on a basket with the gas generator running plugged into the Prius.
That's a train. I mean, that's essentially what trains run on. It's just there's one engine that is a diesel engine that produces electricity, and then it runs the trains are actually electric. So we're
When did you become a
that'll blow your mind, bro. When did I become a train expert?
Yeah.
Matt is one step away from. If Matt had an extra room, Matt would be the guy that had that model train neighborhood. Yes, he would. Yes, he would. He wouldn't talk to anybody. He wouldn't leave the house. He would just buy model trains and make a whole neighborhood.
Hold on. If he had the spare bedroom, would like on Saturday morning.
You don't think
he come out of his room with like the little hat and suspenders?
I can totally see. I can totally see Matt like just being all excited about getting a new train car
because I made one comment and having some knowledge about trains that now validates my some theory that I want to be a conductor.
No, not a conductor, an electric model train conductor. Yeah. That's what we think.
Even better. Even more realistic.
He buys those kits where you're like the little people in the little town, and then his train pulls into the new sheriff station, and he's painting the sheriffs on the weekend.
Just because I rail on the Ford every week.
But I just picture him coming out of his bedroom and like, it's gonna be a good day with his like.
And he's the dad in the Lego movie with the crackle. And he can't move the parts, and he glues everything down.
Exactly.
He gets mad when the boys come in and move his train parts. No.
I could give a shit about train parts. That shit would just be sitting laying around. I am more likely to start putting something together with my kids and then get bored or get frustrated and go, F this, and just let it sit in pieces and never look at it again. That's more realistic.
I could absolutely see that. See that.
Well, what eye are you looking at of? Because you've just described two completely different things.
I don't know. I think I want to picture you in a conductor outfit. That's what I think.
What it is.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
That's my all fans page.
All fans is for people that don't have subscribers. It's the discounted version. It's the Walmart version of OnlyFans.
Jose, do you want to start an ASMR channel on my all fans?
Like how low does that how low is what's rock bottom, dude?
I don't know. What's the minimum subscribe level for all fans?
0.
That's I don't know that we would be able to make any money on all fans. All right, what else? Anything else? So Mojave keeps coming up in the chat room. It's been a topic of conversation.
Where are we at with that? That's
we had a very strategic meeting today.
Jose's moved his cubicle, so he's like right outside of my desk right now. I'm like, Jose, can you come here? We're starting to talk about something. And I brought him into the office to check out designs of our T-shirts and talk about Mojave Trail. So we laid out, we whiteboarded, because that's what I do. We whiteboarded the group that we think.
You didn't have a PowerPoint like presentation?
No, you whiteboard. So here's the process. You whiteboard it.
Yeah.
And then you take pictures of the whiteboard so you can capture it. And then you take the pictures from the whiteboard back and you use that to build the flow charts and the presentation. So we figured we think that there is 19 vehicles that are
almost already
expecting to be on the trip, that are, they're people that are either, they're the core group. They're the people that have been on trips with us before. They go on all the trips with us. You know what I mean? I've had some conversations with people in the background that I know are going for sure. So now now we're looking at that going, okay, that's 19 for sure.
Yeah, they're just starting.
But before even, I could send, here's what I'm saying. I could send 19 emails and get 19 yeses probably today. That's before opening up registration to anybody else. So then the question becomes, who else, how many other people do we go? See, Rob's in the chat room saying he's already got his permission slip assigned. He's like, he's free to go. So he's like ready. This is, you know what I mean?
I think we're going to limit the official participation, but I think we're going to have like stragglers or just people that are like, yeah, I'll do the trail. I don't need to participate in, the sanctioned event, but I'll still see you guys out there. Like,
so do we want to, if we know, I would say there's a really good chance we have 19 confirmed. Maybe as little as 16 if they're, between 16 and 19 of the people that we know are going to go. Do we want to cap it at 25 or do we want to cap it at 30? And what Jose and I talked about was if we did it at 30, we would have to break it up into two groups. So we would say, okay, group A, and we said we were going to do live on the show. We were going to do a draft. We are going to put all the names in a hat and see who get picks for group A and group B, group A, group B.
But is that fair, or is it the people should choose groups?
Well, like for example, Casey's going to be on
Nobody's in my group. Everybody's
so Casey's going to Casey's going to be right. We expected Casey to come on this trip, and then he's going to bring Susan, right? So I said, oh well, if we pull Casey for Group A, then we would put Susan in Group A. And Jose made the point, maybe she doesn't want to be in Group A. Maybe she wants to go in a different group than Casey. So we would just do like, pull one out of the hat, Group A, Group B. But I don't know. And we talked about like having a staggered start. So Group A takes off, and then 20, 30 minutes later, you said an hour.
I said an hour because, I don't know, I feel like the 20, 30-minute window is still too close.
Rob just brought up a brilliant point. We need to pull permits this year.
Oh, yeah, because we had that conversation with the Ranger, huh?
Ranger, exactly. What was the limit, like 9 or 12 or something like that, vehicles? So maybe that's what splits the groups up.
Yeah. We need.
I'll look into it.
Okay, Jose's going to take the lead on that. You could see the look in my eyes, right? I looked across at Jose like, "Oh my god, we have to research that," and he said, "I'll take care of it." So he could see the
desperation,
the life drain out of my face because I don't have time to do it. You're right. You're right. I believe it was like 9 or 11 or something like that, and so.
We had just surpassed it by like a couple vehicles, whatever it was.
I think we had 12, 13 that time. And so it was probably like 10 or something. But you're right. I think the.
Oh, Dave has a good idea.
It also depends on campsites, right? I mean, if you pull 3 permits, there's 3 groups, but they all camp at the same spot.
No, I think you just need 1 permit after a certain amount of people, a group.
Yeah, that's probably the case.
Okay.
But so let's think about if we camp at that same abandoned corral that we did last year, that's so far back in the hills, no rangers coming to see us there. the first night of camp is that's no one's coming out there.
It's mainly when we're on the trail, in between campsites.
Or if we were to stop at the Mid-Hill Rock again, like we used to do, then obviously they're going to come by there because that's a highly traveled campsite. But the corral it's off the beaten path enough to where I don't think anybody's going to come look for us.
Yeah, when it's lit up like the 405 and time to head home from work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and you can see the lights like blocking out the stars and stuff. I don't know.
Dave said we break up in a high-speed team and a sightseeing team.
That's what I was going to say. He had a good idea. It's not a bad idea.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we have to come up with something. So Jose's going to figure out what the permit situation looks like. But again, the plan is Friday night. I'll be staying in Laughlin Friday night. Hit the trail early Saturday morning. So anybody that's not staying in Laughlin Friday night can either camp at the trailhead or because I know Joe K, for example. Joe K said he wanted to camp at the trailhead.
Yeah, I'll be camping too.
Okay. And then we'll take off, 10 o'clock Saturday morning and do the trip. So I think what we'll do is get the information from the permit before sending out registration information, because that will be
the determining
factor as to how many people.
Yeah, because it might be tiered. Like the more people you have, the more expensive it's going to be.
Yeah, but just in the chat room, there's been a handful of people that have said that they're in, and all of those people were already on the list because I knew that they were going to be in. So, all right, I know we keep saying this, but it's going to be, for those of you that are going to go, when it's happening. It's not like it's a surprise. You got to put it on your calendar. It's just a matter of getting in the official, the invite thing. And, see, more
people that have said they're going already, we had on the list.
Or already on the list. Yep. And as we're going through the list, we're like, he's going to go, they're going to go, you know what I mean? It's, so yeah, I don't know how many additional people we'll get. I'm thinking maybe the 25 limit is where we're going to end up. And then,
but I mean, we do it fair. We open it up to everybody to sign up.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's first come, first serve. And
but what's going to happen is the people that are in the chat room are the ones that are monitoring the social media. They know when it's, they're on the live stream on Monday nights.
Well, then they should be the first.
Yeah, they'll end up getting the first ones in. Ooh, Mark, Duty Driven Mark said he's in, but we didn't put him on the list because I don't know that we want him on the trip anymore.
Mark, you were on the list.
Of course, Mark was on the list.
His truck counts as 3 vehicles.
Yeah, unfortunately. But we want to hang out with Abby, not Mark. She's cooler. So we'll get the information on the permitting to find out what we have to cap this at. If we do it at 25,
Matt's quiet, so that means he's doing something.
I know.
Imagine this. I was able to open up Google on that screen right there.
What?
And Google permits for Mojave Trail.
And what does it
Matt's
say?
Quiet. What is he doing?
It says for $91, group recreation with more than 7 vehicles or horses, over 25 people. That's it. It doesn't. There's no
tiered system.
See, Matt, you screwed us because we were gonna say, 20 was the number. It's you can't have more than this many people. No.
You know what? The last thing I need is like a bunch of these jerks telling me what an asshole I am about a stupid $91 permit. That's okay. Let's just play it straight up.
Well, so special events such as sports, races, entertainment, or ceremonies, we wouldn't. So just group recreation. So we'd be $91 for group recreation. Oh, didn't you try to get it last time and it was like a 4-week waiting period?
Yeah, so I should probably start looking into it now.
Let's do that now. Okay, so anything over 7 horses. Let's do it on 7 horses. Let's scrap the vehicles this year and do the Mojave on 7 horses. And whoever wants to come can fit on those 7 horses. Or we could put a buggy behind it and call it the Frontier.
That would actually that'd probably be really good.
Let's
content,
Frontier in
like,
the
for
Frontier.
YouTube. If somebody tried to run the Mojave Trail like in an actual buggy, horse driven, whatever, like how painfully,
no way,
how long it would take. No, you're not interested.
I would be.
It would be great content. I'm not the one that's going to do it, though. I'm not.
I would try it. I would definitely try it.
Jose,
let's do it on the mountain bike.
I would try that too.
We could do 20 miles a day. It would take us a week to do.
Maybe 2
or 2. It's all flat though.
Yeah. For the most
yeah,
part.
and it's sand and dirt. You know what it's like pedaling in sand?
I'd be down for that too, man. I'd try it.
We could do half of it. We could do the non-sandy part,
we
not
should do
the eastern
Laughlin
side.
to that what's that?
Kelbaker.
Yeah, that road.
Before it crosses over. All right, mountain bike trip. Jared, you in? Once your shoulder heals up?
There you go.
You guys wouldn't make it over that whoop section after Kelbaker. You guys would just be dead.
We should do? We should have Matt drop us off at Kelbaker, and then we'll meet him in Laughlin.
No, well, that's the thing. He's not going to be at the rally point. He's like, I was supposed to do something.
It's funny. Okay, well, stay tuned for Mojave. It is getting the actual registration is getting very close, and I'm already lining up some stuff in the background for shirts and hats or shirts and stickers and stuff. And we'll be getting you guys the details soon. So for those of you 19 rigs that were on that list, be prepared because there's going to be people gunning for your spot. That's
right.
Oh, we should put it as an auction. So instead of for our all fans page, it's an auction. No,
I'm gonna be that guy from Storage Wars. Yep.
We put it. The downside is we put it as an auction. We're still not going to raise more than $12.
Yeah, I know. We still end up losing money.
Still end up spending more money than like we did last time. Rob is saying an ugly shirt contest. Are you talking about to win a spot or to actually on
Out
the trail?
there.
I don't want to win.
There.
I don't want to
have a photo shoot.
We already know what Jose's bringing to the game, and it's hard to beat.
But you know what you got to beat though.
Yeah, true.
That's the thing.
True. He's not going to find anything better than that. All right, guys. Appreciate everybody in the chat room. It's always a fun conversation. And guys, thanks for hanging out. Thanks to Jared for being our guest tonight. He got kind of thrown in the mix from being stalked by my brother, but he took it like a champ. And we'll catch up with you guys in a little bit. Oh, hold on. Scott says that we need a talent show. I don't know that that's going to be good for anybody because I don't know.
Where's the talent coming from?
Yeah, the three of us were going to set up a table and sit there like the American Idol judges, and all of the participants have to do a talent to get stickers and hats.
I don't want any part of that.
No,
I don't want any part of like people trying to entertain me.
It's for the all fans. All right, guys, have a good night. We'll talk to you later.
I'm Presley, and thank you for listening. Thank you to Nexon Tire. Thank you to Icon. If you want to be on the show, call 951-394-DIRT. Thank you to Ryan Torino with all of the music.